At work, did I work? Let's see which account I have. I had like 70 alternative accounts. Woo! Okay, I need to go back. I need to go no, not this one. Go 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 go. Gmail, Gmail. YouTube. What account is this? Oh, is that the case still too? Perfect. As Herman would say. Shh. But yeah, I did like a last room. Here, I think it's going too well though. Oh, I can check my own video and see. As Herman would say. Shh. But yeah, I did like a last room. Here, I think it's going too well though. Oh, I can check my own video and see. Imagine as Herman would say myself. But yeah, I did like a last room. Here, I think it's going too well though. Oh no, I know where this is going. Oh, I can check my own video and see. Imagine as Herman would say myself. But yeah, I did like a last room. Here, I think it's going too well though. Oh no, I know where this is going. Oh, I can check my own video and see. Imagine as Herman would say myself. But yeah, I did like a last room. Here, I think it's going too well though. Oh no, I know where this is going. Look at this for a bit, but then I'm gonna back out. Listen oh, I can check my own video and see. Imagine as Herman would say myself. But yeah, I did like a last room. Here. All right, I need to go back for me. It's gonna start getting crazy if I don't. I'm 100% sure. I have to look at it on my phone to see how that looks right now. Um, I don't know. We can react to some of my videos. I made a lot of cool things in here. Let's see. I almost did for a dating scam. Billy actually got me in close friends.
So as for the title of this video, I was gonna actually do reviews because I'm actually gonna start uploading more.
Look at me, that long fluffy haircut. You can see it right there. Jeez. Like you compare me to that right now. I have the short haircut. And we're gonna start. It's gonna be a really good live stream.
But I was gonna mention to you guys that
I can check
well,
comments
as it
too,
turns
guys.
out,
So
there's massive news that I have to share.
Important to say. I can check
real
it
massive. So I might not be the only one. I'm sure this happened to everyone, but probably if you go to Instagram right now, you follow her.
Yeah.
You follow Billie Eilish.
She had a lot of people.
You may have noticed that you ended up on the close friends list. I may not be the only one. If you're her,
just love how I sounded. Totally unscripted.
And then her following list.
And I think I was living with my mom back then. When yeah, that's my old setup where I had my own
that you.
But that's still nice right now. Where I had my old setup. I I think I didn't live in a car. I lived in a car for a while, and then what ended up happening is that the car broke down. Actually, I think I have videos on that. Videos where I got my braces. I don't want to have braces, but it's alright. You gotta live with it, you gotta live with as long as you don't pay for that. I think you gotta live with whatever it is that you have to live with. And that's the truth sometimes that but I know things can always change. Oh, look at it. Becoming strong.
You can't really.
But it's more of a personal blog. This is stop lingering in the past. I'm gonna admit to that. Maybe I should delete this video.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Speedykun.
I linger too much in the past.
But,
oh, we have some recommendations here. Of course, we have the music, as I listen to a lot of music.
I have to make another video. Someone is.
Let's see this one. Trump is. I'm not much into politics, so actually, I'm not even touching.
Hey, what's up?
I I don't want to discuss any of that stuff. It's too controversial, even for me. In the future, if I get more reactions, if I get the votes in the chat, I may do okay, but I don't expect me to sign into chat. All right, hold up, I need to log in the chat. I can't check right now because I'm not signed in. Okay, but let me do that right now. Gmail.com. There you go. I can log in. We can continue. We can keep on grooving. Okay. Well, people came to get me. Okay. Thank you so much. And now I have access to the chat, which I'll be able to check your guys' messages here. Let's see. I might put a beta one or two, maybe study, because I do like to study and every now and then, and I think that's more fun. It's content for not just me, it's content for everyone, people that want to learn, people that want to get things done. Um, if you want to get learning done, I guess you gotta start acting to it. I want to do a lot of things. I always, what? But I love. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm addicted to all this stuff. All right, check it out. Check it out. Yeah. No, I don't want to look at Mario today. Not feeling like Sonic. We already watched enough of that. Oh, I have a video coming for you guys. It's gonna be super funny. I'm editing. I need to edit that, of course. There's a lot of things I'm able to do. I'm full of I'm full of things that I do. A lot of it. Wide. Like if you check my list of things that I do, it's insane. And not only at that place, I'm also at my work, but I kind of want to combine it together, combine the brains and the brawn. I can't. Isn't that what Hulk says in Endgame? Yeah, that's what he says. Uh, but let's see. Give us some cases. You know, it feels good, like cases. Or who knows? Um, I don't know. I feel like I detected Speedykun, which I do like to hear out from. Oh, Mango has it's a good one, but let's see. Maybe some documentaries. Let's find out. Gotta check my YouTube as well. So, because I am going live right now.
I have a patient here. He had a castration done.
Castration. Live stream. Okay. Let me check if you guys have anything first. No. I'll be doing this. The most twisted cases.
He is under threat that if he reports what really happened, then he will be killed.
The following cases include footage, photos, and audio that have never been seen or heard before. When a 28-year-old shows up at an Oklahoma hospital with a gruesome injury and a terrifying story to match, investigators are led to an isolated cabin in the woods. The traumatized victim tried to warn them of the horrors waiting there, but authorities were still wildly unprepared for the shocking and repulsive horrors they uncovered. On October 14, 2020, an unidentified person from Virginia arrived at McAllister Regional Hospital in Oklahoma in terrible shape with a blood-soaked groin. While he initially tried to tell the hospital staff that he had somehow performed surgery on himself, doctors weren't buying the lie. So after a bit of coaxing, the victim explained that two men had surgically removed his testicles as part of an illegal castration, in which he was a willing participant. Yes, you heard me right. This was not an involuntary procedure. However, as you'll soon learn, this person, who hasn't been publicly at McAllister Regional Hospital in Oklahoma in terrible shape with a blood-soaked groin. While he initially tried to tell the hospital staff that he had somehow performed surgery on himself, doctors weren't buying the lie. So after a bit of coaxing, the victim explained that two men had surgically removed his testicles as part of an illegal castration in which he was a willing participant. Yes, you heard me right. This was not an involuntary procedure. However, as you'll soon learn, this person, who hasn't been publicly named, fell prey to some of the most unorthodox criminals on the face of the earth.
What the?
That client review was brutal.
We're gonna be underwater for weeks.
Dang,
I'm already so pruny.
This is fixable. Just use Grammarly. We'll crush it.
I'm alright. Alright, I'm interested.
The patient stated that he'd searched the internet for an unregulated castration, and that's how he met 53-year-old Bob Lee Allen. Bob agreed to perform the surgery, but apparently things took a turn when he allegedly made unsettling comments about being a cannibal and threatened to kill the victim and his loved ones if he ever told the police.
And then we're going to beat the meat.
Naturally, after hearing these disturbing details, doctors and nurses immediately contacted 911.
I have a patient here. He is under a threat that if he reports what really happened, then he will be killed. So basically, for free, he had a castration done that was live streamed by someone in Worcester, Oklahoma.
Oh, this is bad.
And the revenue this guy gets from this is from his website and live streaming. But that if he ever tells anybody anything, they will kill him and everybody that he loves.
A social worker employed by the same hospital also dialed 911 just a few moments later.
He's had some illegal stuff happen against him?
Yes, he came here in our emergency department. He was dropped off by the guy. There's some kind of underground surgical stuff that where they basically castrate them. But then he said the doctor's like a cannibal.
When officers arrived, the victim clarified that he'd met Bob about 3 weeks ago on a website that specifically catered to castration surgeries before moving their conversation to Skype. Oddly, the registration for the website had the welcome note, "From the unit maker and the EM crew." Still, according to the victim, Bob boasted 15 years of experience in gender reassignment surgeries and showed them a few videos as proof.
In March 2004, I went to the doctor, and after several misdiagnoses, it was determined I had low testosterone. By May, the grass was green, the birds were singing, the jasmine and honeysuckle were in full bloom. Oh, the sweetness of the air. My advice, if you're a male over 30, is get your hormones checked.
Not to mention, he and his husband, 42-year-old Thomas Evan Gates, appeared very active on social media.
You need to get the picture, Thomases. There we are. Move your plate.
And if I have to learn it, I'm going to shove it down your throat.
What?
I have it. I don't have it. I don't have it.
In this video posted to Facebook, Bob appears to be stumbling and possibly under the influence of a substance. His behavior is extremely odd, and while this may be his quirky personality, his instability points to possible intoxication. Bob also makes several disparaging remarks about himself, mainly,
I'm a wimp, so that's your videos. Bob's a wimp.
Let me hear you say it.
I'm a wimp. I'm a wimp. I'm a wimp. I'm a wimp. I'm a wimp.
Yeah, he's acting nuts.
They even shared a few intimate moments from their wedding day online.
Got our camera going here, set it up as well.
And live streamed their wedding for friends and family to enjoy.
Congratulations, Chelsea.
However, a deeper dive into their social media accounts revealed some unsettling connections to the claims being made against them, like the attention-grabbing hitch Bob installed on the back of his car.
You done attacking Thomas? Oh no, now he's going for the crotch.
That is creepy.
And the police also came across a very strange video of Bob setting up a funeral for the couple's pet dog. They couldn't skip sharing the ceremony.
Look and make sure I'm standing in the right spot. The trees, the woods around us are serenading amber.
They also shared the cleanup process after the funeral.
Take the camera. It's not too heavy. Got me? Pointed right direction? I think so.
It's unclear if the victim being treated at the hospital saw these slightly disturbing posts before he agreed to his surgery. But nevertheless, Bob bragged to him about having 6 other clients in line for similar procedures. He told the victim that he would happily perform the castration free of charge. But there were a few conditions.
Do you want to become a software engineer? Well, if you don't know where to start, I'm Jacob. I'm a professional software engineer based here in New York City. And let me introduce you to Codecademy. They're a platform dedicated to kickstarting your career in tech and getting you closer and closer to that first developer role. So think of Codecademy like a buffet of learning to code. Depending on the career path you want to go down, there's something here for you. Whether it's AI, web development, mobile engineering on iOS, or even game dev, Codecademy has dedicated career paths that guide you through all the languages, frameworks, and tools you need to learn to succeed. But they don't just leave you there.
First, Bob stated Thomas would assist in the operation, which may not have raised any eyebrows. But then, his requests got bizarre. Bob said he would live stream the entire procedure to make money on his website and store all extracted body parts in his freezer. On October 11th, the victim flew from Virginia to Dallas and was greeted at the gate by Bob. After leaving the airport, they began the long journey back to his home, a secluded cabin in southeast Oklahoma where he lived with Thomas. Disturbingly, the couple promoted this location on Airbnb as a $45 per night vacation rental called Bob's Weekend Wonders.
So they were getting an Airbnb, so they had people. So I don't like where this is leading. Oh man, I feel bad for. Well, we have to check this out. I think I'm reacting too early.
Bunk beds, 4 beds total.
But this is something that is not okay, guys. You know, like castration of bodies or parts of people, especially up onto that. Sounds like it's a twisted case. It really is twisted.
Another bathroom and our master bedroom.
According to court documents, Bob offered the victim a separate bedroom to sleep in and told them the surgery would take place the following evening. At around 5 p.m. on October 12th, Bob and Thomas performed the 2-hour procedure using only local anesthetic, meaning the patient was awake the entire time. While details surrounding the operation are limited, investigators learned it took place on a wooden table blanketed in hospital gowns. Parts of the victim's statements have never been verified or proven, but according to him, soon after Bob finished the surgery, he laughed and called himself a cannibal, saying he would later eat his body parts. Oh, and he also recalled Bob stating he'd performed a similar operation on another person who he called crazy, and that he'd intentionally failed to stitch up the wound, leaving them to bleed to death overnight. The next day following the surgery, the victim woke up to excessive bleeding, and after briefly losing consciousness, he begged Bob to transport him to the hospital. Initially, Bob coldly replied, "No ER, no morgue," and refused the desperate requests. But for unknown reasons, he had a change of heart later in the day and drove the gravely injured patient to the hospital. While en route to the hospital, the victim recalled Bob threatening that if he passed out or died during the drive, he would dump his body in the woods. Then, when they arrived at the hospital, Bob reportedly commanded, if anyone asks, he'd done it to himself. So after getting a complete statement of the horrifying incident from the victim, officers obtained a search warrant for Bob and Thomas's cabin on October 15th. And despite knowing the sickening tale, what they found was far beyond their worst nightmares. When they arrived, deputies immediately noticed that there were no cars at the residence, and they gained entry by kicking the door down. Once inside, officers uncovered a freezer containing a plastic Ziploc bag with what appeared to be testicles. But that's not all. They also found various prescription drugs, adult diapers, surgical tools covered in blood, restraint straps, and a locker containing bags of psychedelic mushrooms. Finally, officers seized several...
Not only that, so it seems that whatever these people were in, they were definitely doing not only that, but it seems like they were on some type of... Maybe they were on drugs, or maybe they used the drugs for the patients. I can't tell which one of those it could be. But, well, I have to look into it right now. Okay, guys, I'm looking at the chats. I should just probably look at it from here, huh? Yeah. Well, good luck, chat, guys. Chat.
Storage devices with recordings of different surgeries. As the search was going on at their home, Bob and Thomas were actually arriving at the hospital, supposedly to check in on the victim. Both men were immediately taken into custody. Bob adamantly denied any claims of cannibalism, but regardless, he and Thomas were each charged with felony counts of performing unlicensed surgery, conspiracy to commit unlicensed surgery, maiming an assault, and battery with a dangerous weapon. Both men also faced a misdemeanor charge of failure to bury the removed parts. Even though Thomas allegedly only assisted Bob with these illegal acts, Thomas was charged for acting in concert and therefore faced the same charges as Bob. Thomas accepted a plea deal in which he would testify against Bob, and in exchange, the felony charges against him were dropped. Thomas received a sweetheart deal. Oftentimes, the first person to flip on the other gets the better deal. Bob was set to go to trial, but he ultimately entered a plea of no contest and was sentenced to 10 years in prison plus 2 years in jail. Despite the victim making a full recovery, Bob told the judge he chose to enter this plea because a jury might convict me.
I drank all that nice coffee, man.
What you just saw might not look like anything more than a car entering a parking garage, but when you find out what the person believed to be behind the wheel did mere hours earlier, this video will send chills up your spine.
Yeah, I like to go to another concert. I've been to one.
I need to find the best way to learn math and science.
It's where I've done so many things.
It's brilliant.org.
Really, like, I had
On September 20.
I'm that type of person who's really low profile about most of the things that I do. That's why I actually never came out. But now things are gonna be changing, guys. Now I'm gonna make it more high, a little medium, more profile, maybe high profile. Of course, I want to get some of that high class action too, but it'll take a lot of effort. I'll let you guys know that, and it takes a lot of recording, a lot of investigations, a lot of entertainment for you guys by your host Speedykun, because I'm great. I'd rather do that than to stay quiet in the dark, you know. But I will stay quiet in the dark if I need to, but only for because I don't like being someone who's like, you look into most people's today's, they don't really. I'm not into that celebrity thing. I think it can get too crowded sometimes. But I'm starting to realize, you know what? Knowing that realize I'm someone who talks a lot. Maybe this is for the better. Doing researches, even if you get no one. See, the chat is quiet, but at the same time, hey, I'm having fun doing this, and that's what really matters. And not only that, I'm getting to investigate, see what was going on, you know, just by looking at this. We can come up to conclusions, but you can't really do that if you don't know what the video is about. You can't learn Japanese if you're not into the subject, if you're not there for it every single step of the way. You're not making that conscious effort. Even I have failed, because I haven't been there for, you know, I have to stick to my guns, you know. Stick to whatever that is you want to do, your passions, keep doing that. And if you love doing exercise, I'm that one type of person who will check any type of content. That's the only good thing about me. And I will act up on it, you know. But I do realize people they put themselves in tough positions. Sometimes things happen in their life, it's not even their fault. And it can't happen, and it has happened to millions of times. Why? Because the planet does live in a world where anything can happen. Oh, look, I'm going to wear the glasses.
29th, 2005, officers from the Aurora Police
Department. I will talk about, we're going to do that. We're going to do a girl hunt as well.
In Illinois.
But I may do that in person, you know. I don't want to record any of that because I think it's more personal, you know. But I'll let you guys know what I'll probably react to people that are in dating after, you know, like they do the pranks, because that is hilarious. But not much into that. But for some criminal cases, right now is the serious time. We gotta know, because we have this thing going. Oh, is this a no case?
Mere hours earlier, this video will send chills up your spine. On September 29th, 2005, officers from the Aurora Police Department in Illinois responded to a 911 call at the upscale suburban home of 34-year-old James Jimmy Sow and his wife, 31-year-old Catherine Kate Sow. The couple had failed to show up to work that morning, and it was so out of character that Jimmy's brother, Chu Chi,
There is a conversation. There is another person that I do know. Well, I don't know that well, but I'm kind of I have some regrets about doing that. I feel bad with what I did, so I have to. I don't know. It's like I mean I don't know how many times I apologize, but the thing is, when you like someone, it's really hard to let go. I don't think your feelings can ever go away, but the things that you do, those you can always admit for it. And I kind of feel that way. I didn't really mean to do that, but I'll let you guys know more into that case. That's my case too. So, but there is a lot of justice that needs to be served, and
He
especially
immediately
to
went
me.
to their house to make sure
I need to explain myself well because I think I ended up just making things because I don't know how to talk to. According to my friends, they always talk to girls, but I don't know how to do that. But at least I can explain myself, at least into what aspect.
everything was okay. Chuchi tried knocking and ringing the doorbell, but got no answer. So he peeked through a window, and that's when he saw something that made his blood run cold. A woman lying motionless on the floor in a pool of blood. The fire department arrived first and gained entry to the home by breaking down the front door. Strangely, Chuchi was allowed to go inside without gloves, which would have compromised the investigation. Moreover, the worried brother had no idea that he was walking into one of the worst crime scenes this state had ever encountered. The first thing everyone saw inside the home was a woman's body on the ground next to the doorway. It was immediately clear that she was deceased from a gunshot wound to the head.
Oh, heck
Then,
no.
as officers worked to secure the scene and check for any other victims, they came across what appeared to be someone sitting on the couch. However, they quickly realized the person wasn't alive, and Chuchi identified him as his brother, Jimmy. It appeared he'd been attacked
Oh, no,
unexpectedly, as the
no.
TV was still on and his laptop computer had seemingly slid off his lap
See,
onto the floor.
this is what
Investigators
this is what is creepy. What I find creepy, even if you're in the best spots, there's always people, and sometimes I imagine maybe that's why I imagine those kind of bad scenarios. If I were to be in this guy's position, who knows? Maybe the criminals, most of the times, criminals have thoughts that they haven't dealt with. So what ends up happening is that a lot of those people that decide to commit crimes, they get so overwhelmed by their emotions, like they let them their own feelings or sometimes their lack of feeling. They want revenge, or they either are psychopathic, meaning that they don't care, they just do it for their fun. There's people that do it just because, and it's not always just because. There's always a trigger for that, but they have something that they had to do in order to kill those people that are like in those houses. I
continued
am starting to sound like a detective because I think I've been looking in too much into like on my own and privately. I'm interested in watching this kind of stuff, but I know I love it when there are those cases where you can get resolutions. Sometimes I'd like to participate in some things like you need help finding someone,
moving through the
but more importantly, it's not even just about doing it. It's about doing the right thing. It's about committing what it is, not what you think is right, but what it is actually the right thing. Sometimes the right things hurt. People don't like the truth. Um, People want to live in fantasies, and I learned that. I'm gonna talk about that right now. And this happened back in high school. This was a question that they asked me. I never really got to elaborate. Why? I sometimes I wish I could go back and elaborate even more as to why I would choose living in reality instead of a fantasy. And a fantasy is it's sad. Sad fantasies are sad because yeah, they are fun. They're world of happiness. But the thing is, you start to realize that all of that happiness isn't really what makes you happy. Like, like you eventually get tired of like you start questioning yourself. Is this actually true? Is this? It's like you're missing something. Because yeah, everything is so happy. You stay there. For me, it happens like that. I don't think uh, fantasy and reality can be connected. But then the only thing that fantasy usually has another side, and a lot of people don't like to admit that. People are stuck into the fantasy. They're stuck in the illusion of perfection, of having things be great, things come out the way they want. And most of the times, you know what? Because we live in reality, that can happen. On the contrary, reality can involucrate things, elements from fantasy, and actually still be real. It sounds fantasious, but if something is real, something is real. Like, look at us. We have cars, we have airplanes, we have rocket ships. They can go into space. And honestly, I want to see more people get into space. I want to see more people explore. We have a universe so wide, full of ideas, full of creativity, full of art. I love people that have creative ideas. And it's sad to know that there's people that are not really into that. Oh, brother alert. Brother alert. So, yeah, I really am into that whole. Hey, what's up? What's up, man? Yeah, it's cool, you know. People deserve to have um. People deserve to know to expand their creativity, to expand their horizons. So if you want to start a business, that's something that's real. No, you can't tell me that hasn't been done before. I like to think big. Yeah, I may have I like to tell people I may have my space. My mind is not in here and there. Sometimes I am thinking of fantastic things, but the only things that I think about are things that I know are actually possible. I'm not thinking something that's impossible. Most people that live in fantasy, they think about those things that are impossible, which in reality It's not if we have people literally causing murders, people that have organized cults, people that have done all of that. Where's the things? Where's those sides where we have great things going on, where we have great justices going on, where we have people being creative, people growing, people learning, people knowing to expand their minds. Wait, open your mouth. I'm acting like that. Rick and Morty is kind of like a show that simplifies a lot of that. And then those people I just become cold because you know what? Because of their experiences, because of whatever that is that they believe in, whatever their beliefs is, and some people are just not gonna like that. There are people that just don't like those ideas. People don't like to admit to certain things, and even me. Like I have friends that are smarter than me, and they told me that no, Sergio, there's always gonna be people smarter. And guess what? He can tell me that, but the reason that I don't need to be told because of that is because I've always been aware. I've always known that. I know that there's people that are smarter than me. But do I care about that? Well, yeah, of course, anyone should care. But do I get bothered by it at all? Of course not. There's always gonna be things that we don't know. And sometimes not knowing something and having the other person, it kind of gets to a point, more, especially when you start getting jealous. And that has happened with me and my friends. I start getting jealous for no reason because I see them succeeding more, and then I start asking myself, what have I done? What have I done that makes me want to feel better? And sometimes that's another trigger as to why people start doing things that are not okay. And there are people that are definitely jealous about me. There are times where I can get beat up too, but the only thing is you gotta stand your ground. You gotta get up. You gotta stand up for yourself. You gotta learn how to not hurt others, but how to not get pushed around so easily. Because no one likes to get pushed around. Or things like this can happen. There are cases where you can have people protecting you, where you really, really have to know how you're gonna deal with those situations. It's like trying to survive a shootout. If you know how to do it, you have a higher chances of surviving. If you don't know how to do it, of course you're gonna get shot, or you can hide. That's the other thing because you have learned. It's still a way that you're using yourself to kind of prevent things like this from happening. All right, I want to know what actually happened now.
home and found another blood-soaked body in the hallway leading to the primary bedroom. While someone severely beat the victim's face until it was almost beyond recognition, Chu-Chi knew it was Kate. Still, the gruesome discoveries didn't end there. Another male victim was located in the garage lying between two vehicles with a gunshot wound to his head. His head had been wrapped in a towel and covered with a plastic bag. Detectives noted several areas in the home with blood smears, and while they found handprints, the absence of ridge lines where the fingerprints would have been told them that the killer had been wearing gloves. They also located 2 partial shoe prints that didn't belong to the victims or those who entered the crime scene that morning. Finally, there were no signs of forced entry into the home. The lack of forced entry and the overkill committed to Kate are both indications that the perpetrator was likely known to the victims and possibly motivated by rage. Next, as authorities worked to identify the 2 unknown victims, they also began scouring the neighborhood, looking for potential leads. Someone living across the street from the Sows noted a car parked in their driveway that morning at around 6 a.m. that didn't belong to Kate or Jimmy. Additionally, the vehicle appeared to have been moved to the other side of the driveway roughly 20 minutes later, when the neighbor looked again and was gone later that morning. Another neighbor of the Hansons reported that the whole house was bright at around 2 a.m. that night, which she stated was very unusual. Meanwhile, autopsies soon confirmed that the woman found lying just inside the doorway was Kate's mother, Mary, and the man in the garage was her father, Terry. Both were dressed in sleepwear with their bodies lying on plastic painter tarps. The medical examiner also disclosed the horrible truth about what had happened to the 4 victims. Kate had suffered 40 wounds, including 22 abrasions and bumps on her head and 18 on her torso and limbs. The medical examiner believes some of the injuries on her body to be defensive, like her ring finger, which had been bent backwards so violently that it snapped. Jimmy's death resulted from 12 brutal. The whole house was bright at around 2 a.m. that night, which she stated was very unusual. Meanwhile, autopsies soon confirmed that the woman found lying just inside the doorway was Kate's mother, Mary, and the man in the garage was her father, Terry, her torso and limbs. The medical examiner believes some of the injuries on her body to be defensive, like her ring finger, which had been bent backwards so violently that it snapped. Jimmy's death resulted from 12 brutal blows to his head with an body to be defensive, like her ring finger, which had been bent backwards so violently that it snapped. Jimmy's death resulted from 12 brutal blows to his head with an unknown object, possibly a metal pipe or baseball bat, which left indents in some places. Terry and Mary both passed away from a single gunshot wound to their heads. While Terry had been shot at close range from behind, Mary appeared to have been facing her attacker when the fatal shot was fired. Finally, the medical examiner stated that none of the victims had any traces of drugs or alcohol in their system. Based on the state of the bodies, it was evident they hadn't been dead for long, but investigators still needed to narrow the timeline. Forensic analysis of Jimmy's computer revealed that the last keystroke was made just before 11 p.m. on September 28th, the day before 911 was called. Therefore, it appeared that at least his murder took place at that time. Furthermore, investigators felt certain that Mary and Terry hadn't been killed at the Sows' home, so they sent a forensic team to their house in Naperville, Illinois, approximately 5 minutes away. While the first day of searching yielded no results, a horrifying discovery was eventually made in one of the spare bedrooms.
Välkommen till Betinia, Sveriges snabbast växande spelbolag. Hos oss hittar du...
An officer moved a mattress.
A murder! Oh, man.
Off the bed and found blood stains underneath. Investigators then shifted their focus to Terry and Mary's bedroom, and what they found was disturbing, to say the very least. They located 2 distinct holes in the wooden headboard, but oddly, one appeared to have been made with a drill while the other went clean through. Detectives speculated that someone had attempted to disguise the bullet holes. Also, a bullet was recovered from an attic joist behind the bedroom wall, and ballistics testing later confirmed it matched those found in Mary and Terry's bodies. Authorities also searched Mary's car while at the residence and found several bloodstains on the floor carpets in the back seat. DNA testing later confirmed that the blood belonged to Terry, implying that someone had used Mary's car to transport the bodies to the Sow residence. Adding weight to that theory, one of the Sow's neighbors confirmed that it was Mary's car they briefly spotted that morning. So whoever committed this heinous crime also returned the car to Mary and Terry's driveway after staging the crime scene at the Sow home. Investigators contacted Mary and Terry's other daughter, Jennifer, and she confirmed that the mattress found in the spare bedroom had been swapped with the one from her parents' bedroom, implying that they had been killed as they slept. But that wasn't the only useful piece of information she had for detectives. Jennifer informed them that Kate had called her roughly 6 weeks earlier with a very unsettling story about their younger brother, Eric. At the time of the murders, Mary and Terry's 28-year-old son, Eric, was still living with them in a basement bedroom of the family home. He'd recently started working as a loan originator, also known as an independent mortgage broker, and was getting paid solely on commission, which was hardly enough to make a living. However, when asked by his boss how he was making ends meet, Eric replied that his parents largely supported him financially. Eric's girlfriend Allison noticed he'd been spending a lot more money in recent years, and when she asked about his finances, he claimed to be doing very well at his job. Eric's sisters also noticed the change in his spending habits, but he gave them the same response, and while they were still suspicious, neither had any idea what was happening beneath the facade. You see, in July 2004, Eric rented a post office box in his and his mother's names without her permission. Then he applied for a Capital One MasterCard under the name Mary Hansen, also without her consent, and made himself the authorized user. From there, Eric used the post office box as a destination for all incoming statements and began spending money like crazy. One of the things he purchased was a Garmin GPS, which becomes important to the case later. As if that wasn't bad enough, Eric opened several more charge cards in his mother's name, but by August 2005, his sister Kate had caught on to the scheme. It's unclear how exactly she found out, but Kate immediately called Jennifer and told her about the roughly $80,000 their brother had charged. The unsuspecting mother, Mary, eventually found out and confronted Eric alongside his sisters. He promised to pay her back if they agreed not to tell his father, but Kate wasn't having it and told him she fully intended to inform their father of what he'd done. That's when things took a sinister turn. Eric turned to Kate and said, "If you tell Dad, I'll f***ing kill you." She was understandably rattled by the threat and even took the following day off work to calm down. She also allegedly turned on her home security system as an extra precaution, but it wouldn't save her in the end. If you ever suspect a family member of fraud, it may be in your best interest to involve a third party such as law enforcement, a lawyer, or a family counselor before confronting the person. If your suspicions are correct, they may react with anger about being caught, and their behavior could possibly escalate to violence in order to keep their secret. Then, later that same month, Kate expressed her concerns to Eric's girlfriend Allison, but she reportedly claimed to be under strict instructions from Eric not to speak with her or Jennifer. Allison later told investigators that Eric frequently demanded to know if she'd been communicating with his sisters, and told her she was going to get it if he found out she was disobeying him. Furthermore, Eric's boss stated that his attendance at work had dwindled to virtually nothing in the months leading up to the murder. Then, on September 19th, just 10 days before...
You always gotta stick to your work. If you gotta do work, you're not miss out on days. But this is horrible. I'm looking at this
before
stuff.
the bodies were discovered, Eric lied to his boss, saying his brother-in-law had passed.
I think this is a new passion. I'm gonna make this a passion because this stuff right here it just
away,
opens your
and
eyes.
he needed to take some time off.
It's called learning. Learn from cases, learn from people. Sometimes you think you can branch out to something better, but I guess investigation is getting to me.
He never.
The thing about this is people that start committing bad things. And probably who knows they had intentions to do good, but they ended up switching out.
Returned to work after telling that lie. And when cleaning out his desk, his boss found a checkbook.
Don't get me wrong. Even at my work, I found kind of like creepy things, not with me, but some coworkers. But even then, if you ever gets around something like you stand up to it, you stand your ground. Why? Again, you can't get trampled by anyone. You gotta always be truthful to what you believe in, despite how harsh situations can get.
Belonging to Mary. A pattern of irresponsibility, such as frequently skipping work, and a history of lying are two red flags for antisocial personality disorder, APD, if he found out she was disobeying him.
We're gonna take some notes on this. Oh, wait. See, what a coincidence that I started getting a book out of that. I know this to gather info. Yeah, but it was for my Starbucks thing. Well, you said it doesn't matter. I'm. This is one thing that every learner should do. Let's see. Do I have a pencil here? I'm not the most educated individual, and I wish sometimes I knew more, but sometimes that can't happen. Wait. Oh yeah, I think that's the last book about how to be a help instead of nuisance. Maybe this is what I'm gonna be doing because I don't feel too confident. I feel like I lack a lot of whenever I read books. So maybe I can study while live streaming. But okay, it's all about the learning, all about. But I'll be doing this, I'll be reacting because this stuff is on another level. This is something that I've never done. I've never gotten like this. This rush of emotion. There are different things I do, but because I am someone that likes to talk, knowing is the best way. Unless you watch, if you're someone who is constantly watching videos and learning from that, then there's really no point in. But even from this, I have a lot of ideas, and man, I'm trying to look. I know 100% sure. Maybe it's in my cabinet. I have materials that I'm keeping, but I don't have them here. But we have to. There is no way that I'm gonna miss out on this. It's because I don't have a pencil. But that's how it is. Sometimes, oh man, life can be like that. I'm pretty not organized either. Videos will be coming up for that. Help organize. I think I like what I did though, regardless. There is something that my room has changed. Oh, you see? No. Yeah, that's also my adventure and things. It doesn't help out much. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I should probably be wearing the bow tie. There is props that we're gonna use. But we're gonna keep this. I have my SFX. We don't have much, no luck, but this, I will not give up, guys. Never give up. I'm doing the right thing, even if you're falling down, collapse because of it. But you stand up, you back up, you start writing. I don't know. I don't know what I did with my pencils. I swear, I kept a copy of that because I like this stuff. I have like to investigate. And now that I have the investigator's hat, this is symptoms that everyone should be taking notes of, but no one, of course. I'm just here to react to the stuff. No, I admit it. I do have not the best things going on. There's a lot of factors that make living right here hard. It's not just that. It's sometimes family conditions, sometimes things that I'm not I, I'm not in agreement with because I have chosen to take a different path compared to the one I was on. And yeah, there's been darker routes. Regardless, I know I have a pencil. I will look for the pencil. It might be in my jackets, maybe anywhere. I had a box of pens, or not Alaska, they have it right behind me because I have like a store that's right next to me. Any ideas, guys? Any clues? Any blues clue? I don't expect that. I have book things. Um, I would even leave the live stream just to go look for something to write with. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not enough luck. I'll check my car right now. So, I am back. I got lucky because I actually do have the thing. But because I noticed that maybe I'm not dressing properly, we're gonna get we're gonna get the fancy stuff out of the way. So what? I'm wearing the hat right now. Hat. We'll save the yukata when we switch topics. Maybe this will be my sign that I'm heading on to something different. But right now, because we are investigating, I think it would be nice if I look more professional, more into that stuff, more into the detective aspect of me. Because yeah, whenever you guys see me dressed nice like this, it means oh man, there's a lot of things. I'm not in the best space right now. I'm not in the best position, guys. I'm just letting you know that. Which if I was, I really wouldn't be like this. 100%. But for that to happen, I have to keep doing this over and over and over. And you can see my books, oh man, that's okay. It's all of it. It's my mind. It's how you keep the info in there. If you have a flood of information, that's what happens. That's why I need to release all of this. This is all the stuff that's not hidden. That, and I think it really helps out making videos. And making videos is a good way because not only am I making content, reaction content. Oh, that. There we go. I look like I look like I'm about to do a one of those nature rangers. Hey, right? Yeah. It's what, but we'll use that. We need it. I'm dressed in the coat, and I'm wearing the hat. Maybe I'm going incognito.
Furthermore, Eric's boss stated that his attendance at work had dwindled to virtually nothing in the months leading up to the murder.
Okay.
Then, on September 9th, obeying him.
Oh man. So, I got that. I think I left the pencils. See, I got that, but I forgot about that. I keep forgetting. I always forget something. But yeah, so I went back from my I went from my laptop. Got off the car. There we go. We need to take notes of that. Okay. Not organized, but it is the actions that will guide the whole thing. The more we keep investigating, I think the better it is, because the more you get used to this kind of stuff, the more my body gets used to this.
Possibly escalate to violence in order to keep their secret. Then, later that same month, Kate expressed her concerns to Eric's girlfriend Allison, but she reportedly claimed to be under strict instructions from Eric not to speak with her. Furthermore, Eric's boss stated that his attendance at work had dwindled to virtually nothing in the months leading up to the murder. Then, on September 19th, just 10 days before the bodies were discovered, Eric lied to his boss, saying his brother-in-law had passed away and he needed to take some time off. He never returned to work after telling that lie, and when cleaning out his desk, his boss found a checkbook belonging to Mary. A pattern of irresponsibility, such as frequently skipping work, and a history of lying are two red flags for antisocial personality disorder, APD.
So, criminal case. We're talking about APD. This one's really interesting because, oh, am I getting called? Huh. Hold on. Oh no. So APD, there was symptoms, like he was skipping work. That's another one. Skipping work and lying.
Which is a mental health disorder characterized by a disregard for and violation of others' rights. To our knowledge,
disregard? It means disregard? Alright, disregard for and violation of others' rights. So he is violating other people's rights.
Eric was never diagnosed with APD or any other mental disorder. Now that leads us to September 28th. Eric called his sister Jennifer and asked to stay overnight at her house in Minnesota for an upcoming Vikings game. This request struck Jennifer as very odd because she had a strained relationship with her brother and he never visited her family. That evening, Eric was at home with his parents and spoke to Allison on the home phone around 11:30. The next day, Terry and Mary's co-workers started becoming concerned when they failed to show up for work. So a few of them drove to their home and made entry through the garage using a keypad. That evening, Eric was at home with his parents' keypad they had been given access to. Once inside, they noticed a raging fire and started becoming concerned at her family. That evening, Eric was at home with his parents and spoke to Allison on the home phone around 11:30. The next day, Terry and Mary's co-workers started becoming
so something had happened.
Concerned when they failed to show up for work. So a few of them drove to their home and made entry through the garage using a keypad they had been given access to. Once inside, they noticed a raging fire in the couple's indoor fireplace, which was beyond odd as it was typically only used around Christmas time. Furthermore, the home smelled strongly of air fresheners, but everything in the rest of the house appeared perfectly normal. Before leaving the residence, the curious co-workers went to leave a note and noticed one already written by Eric, reading, "Mom, Dad, see you Sunday, have fun in Galena." The message was left next to some cash that Eric labeled payment this month. Apparently, Terry and Mary had been planning to take a romantic trip to Galena and were expected to leave very soon. Jennifer was contacted by one of the co-workers at her parents' home, and they explained the strange things they'd uncovered there. Concerned, she asked if they could go check out her sister Kate's house as well. And when they arrived, a police officer who'd already found the 4 bodies reportedly told them, "It's not pretty in there."
Det är så kritiskt som det kan vara. Det här handlar om sekunder.
Det är inte ett klassiskt brott.
So the question is, where was Eric during all of this? Well, Eric had actually planned a trip to California with his girlfriend Allison and caught a flight on September 29th, the day the bodies were found, and presumably the day after Kate, Jimmy, Terry, and Mary were killed. Eric arrived in California and told Allison that he was going to take a nap because a rotten mattress caused him to have a terrible sleep the night before.
No.
Shortly after his arrival, the same co-worker that had contacted Jennifer called Eric to tell him the horrific news about his family. However, rather than ask who was deceased, Eric strangely remarked, "How did people know to go looking over there?" Eric then spoke with a detective who had a lot of questions for him. He claimed he had no idea what was going on and told the detective that despite seeming to leave the state right after his family was killed, he wasn't running from anything. The detective asked if he'd ever threatened his sister or parents. Eric paused for approximately 30 seconds before saying he had not, but when the detective divulged
This guy, there we go. So, Eric had lied. That's one other thing. Eric had lied. He lied. Lied about about threatening. Oh man. So he's like, no, I never threatened them. Even though they actually
details of the
and that's the thing. That's why most people oh man, that's how many people can get away. If people like that's a way of power manipulations. But it's not a good kind, because like let's say you threaten someone like, oh, you will not tell this to anyone. People can use that against others. And it forces that person to kind of stay quiet over like because they know if they speak about that, they will be in spirit. God, like we're getting a JoJo reference right here too.
crime and
Yeah, that was an anime reference. But this right here, this is even more serious. This is like he not wanting to say the truth. Oh, that he
implied that
already
he
did that.
might
Yeah.
be responsible. Eric became emotional and hung up. Interestingly, a long pause is often seen before a lie because the brain has to do three things simultaneously: keep you from telling the truth, create a lie, and deliver the lie, unlike when someone's being honest. Following the conversation, Eric told Allison the news about his family, and sensing that something wasn't quite right, she contacted the police. Authorities informed her that Eric had fallen under suspicion for the murders, but little did she know he was already long gone. At this point, investigators put out a nationwide alert for his immediate apprehension. Now, it's unclear how exactly this occurred, but at some point during his time in California, Eric managed to steal a red Saab in the Los Angeles area. And contrary to what he told detectives, it's believed he drove the stolen vehicle back to the airport and abandoned it in the garage with plans to return home. Inside the airport, Eric seemed desperate to leave the state and made 2 unsuccessful attempts to check in before finally boarding a flight to Chicago just before 8 p.m. During one of the earlier attempts, a ticket agent actually noticed that he was flagged in the system for immediate apprehension. But rather than calmly contact the police, the ticket agent shouted this exact phrase, "What's going on here? You're the guy," alerting Eric and giving him ample time to run away from the ticket counter before anyone could respond to the situation. The next day, on September 30th, Eric called the investigator again and told him that he was still in California.
Even I think this stuff was right. It is true. He panicked. You're the guy. I could imagine that. Oh, you're that guy, the one who did all that. So knowing him, he did that, and now he's like, oh shit, he knows. But now that he knows, I can run away. But if we were like, okay, just let me do that and let him go through. But okay, we have a criminal. Yeah, we 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 have him right here. He's in this direction. It's that's how they could have catch him sooner. But by doing this, they gonna okay. But I kind of want to keep looking at this.
But unfortunately for him, cell phone towers don't lie. The FBI quickly traced Eric's phone to a freeway in Illinois, heading towards his sister Jennifer's house. Based on the odd request he'd made to stay with her a few days earlier, authorities feared he might be in
Federal bureaucratic, I guess intelligence. Sorry. The federal. I know it's called like that. Federal bureaucratic. I think it is intelligence. Let's see if I'm right or wrong. The federal bureaucratic investigations. There you go. That's what I was missing. So yeah, they have to investigate criminal.
En route to harm Jennifer and instructed her to take her family and leave
FBI.
immediately. Meanwhile, officers raced to catch up with him, and fortunately, it didn't take long. Eric was pulled over as he tried to evade police and swiftly arrested for intimidation relating to his threat against Kate. He said he was aware that the police wanted to speak with him regarding the murders, but claimed to have no idea that there was an outstanding warrant out for his arrest. Eric may have been planning to harm Jennifer, as the officer suspected. It's possible that he thought if he eliminated her, there would be no one left to tell police about the fraud he committed under his mother's name, or the altercation he had with his mother and Kate. A search of his car revealed several incriminating pieces of evidence, including bags of new clothing purchased with Mary's credit card, vinyl gloves inside a plastic bag from Mary and Terry's home with some kind of brown substance on them, and several pieces of jewelry that had belonged to Kate and Jimmy. Oh, and remember that Garmin GPS system from earlier? Well, as it turns out, it had been turned off on the night of September 28th, around the time he'd gone out for drinks. The device was reactivated at around 9:30 the following day, just a few hours before the bodies were found. It seemed that someone was attempting to hide their movements on that fateful night. Still, the most damning piece of evidence came from the gloves found in Eric's car. DNA testing confirmed that the brown substance on them was a mixture of Terry and Mary's blood. Investigators also located the Saab, which Eric adamantly denied stealing, and transported it to a storage location.
Man, makes people. This is just outrageous. This is criminal. It's bad.
For processing. Eric was subsequently charged with murder and placed in jail. During this time, detectives attempted to elicit a confession from Eric during several interrogations over 3 days, but he refused to acknowledge any wrongdoing despite the mounting evidence against him. Instead, Eric admitted that he had a poor relationship with his family members, but claimed he wasn't a bad person and could never kill them. However, contrary to his claims, detectives eventually determined that Eric had stolen more than $140,000 from his parents via credit card fraud. Eric's trial commenced in February 2008, and the evidence against him was overwhelming. Some of the most incriminating details were that Eric would have been present in the home when his parents were shot, though he testified that he never heard gunshots, and that bloody gloves containing Mary and Terry's DNA were found in a plastic bag in Eric's car. But that wasn't it. In order for the jury to find him innocent, they would have to believe that the GPS device in Eric's car somehow deactivated itself, and that someone besides him got into Kate and Jimmy's house and bludgeoned them to death, and also got into Mary and Terry's house, all without breaking in, and shot them while Eric was sleeping downstairs. And finally, the jury would have to believe someone other than Eric attempted to make it look like the Sow's home was the primary crime scene. Thus deflecting suspicion from Eric. In the end, Eric was found guilty of 4 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of armed robbery, 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping, and 2 counts of identity theft. Prosecutors succeeded in proving beyond a reasonable doubt that Eric had killed his family in order to cover up his theft. Eric was ultimately sentenced to death, but after appealing the sentence, the residing governor commuted his sentence to life imprisonment after dropping the aggravated kidnapping charge.
Life imprisonment? Yeah. That's the way, that's the route. See, this is the thing what happens. People, it is difficult. Do you know what's in their actual, whatever it is in his mind? It's twisted. And that, okay, I keep saying that, like, it says twisted cases. But, like, I guess they got their heads wrong. They chose to do that. They decided, instead of, you know what, let me solve this like a polite person. They went with that route. They went with the most, and maybe in their brains they're thinking that they were. I think I know that mentality too. I'm aware of that, but it's it's not okay. It's like if you branch out. This is how I like to say it. Know that there has been different paths. There is paths where people have taken things where they decide to set themselves up even worse. They don't have the life that they really want, so they decide, you know what, I'm gonna get revenge, or I'm gonna, you know what, screw my parents or screw all of that. I don't want to talk to them. So they, you know what, they grab knives, they grab guns, they try to cover up their sins because they know it's wrong. First of all, they know they will never admit to that. But as the case with Detective Speedykun, um, yeah, this is something that definitely. I don't think there's in order to be okay with this kind of stuff, man. You would have to revive your parents, and even that, we live in a world where that's not even possible. So this was some really horrible actions. I don't think even if you brought them back, would they ever be proud of that? Why? Because not only did he steal money, this guy committed their murder. This guy said, "You know what? Okay, if I can have the money, if what's it called? I really don't want to pay them back. So you know what? Maybe he was even thinking about it. He was staging a plan to go later in California, and you know what? I want to leave that life behind. But you know what? I'm gonna murder my parents, and that's exactly what happened right here. This guy committed that, tried to cover it up, stage, but guess what? He was tainted. He was tainted with blood already. He was tainted in doing things that are not good. If you do stuff like that, you gotta be open up to it. Even me. Um, there's been situations where I've almost gotten myself into bad things. Sometimes things do happen by accident, but the key is always try to remain truthful. You know, if you do get arrested, get arrested. If there is things that you agree that you're innocent for, plead for that. But there's one thing that comes true that actually does apply. Always be honest about it. Open up. If you admit that you were wrong, admit that you were wrong. People like that, um, no matter how, no matter what you were thinking, no matter what you were planning, it was already, it was already a bad thing. You're getting rid of family. That's why even I had those thoughts with family and not family, friends. And you realize it's not the right way. This is only gonna lead to more destruction. You don't investigate, like there's consequence for everything that you single do. Even not only in that, not only in criminal cases, but in good cases. In cases where you think that you're doing the right thing, but sometimes people can take it for wrong. But that depends on how you put yourself. And sometimes you're just not gonna be there. If you don't want to get yourself in those situations, sometimes gotta change the outcome of that. But how you train, you work out, you invest yourself in like interesting activities. Like me right now, I'm doing this because I'm hooked into this because I'll admit it to you guys too. I'm feeling a bit lonely right now. Like I've been feeling lonely, and I try ringing up some of my friends too. Sometimes they're busy. Sometimes they are doing their own things. They're in their own world. They're stuck doing to their own ideas. So guess what happens? Most of the times, sometimes they can't even answer because they're stuck at work. So that means I gotta do something about that. I decide, you know what? Why not react? Why not speak? If I'm gonna speak, speaking with someone, I already speak with my audience. You know, this is where everybody comes in. You know, and they have different types of audiences. Again, it's a long, complicated process that I will try to explain later. But this right here, this is interesting because it shows us what can happen to when a mind goes to range out of normal and into things that are harmful, where these people take the wrong path. Dang, I'm starting to sound really well with this. mm, yeah, but really not enough chat. Yeah, let me update that. We'll keep doing this.
Hi, I think my friend's dad called you guys earlier. My friend's been missing all day. She hasn't gone to work or anything. Where's she missing from? She was at my house and she never made it to work. But then I just found her van right inside of my
Yeah.
house, and the
Oh,
keys
all
are
right.
in the
I'm gonna
car.
like
And
this
then
one. Fun fact, guys, I actually did used to own a van. I used to live in a van, and it was a harsh experience. It is one experience that I'm not gonna lie. If you want to live in a van, go for it. But there is one thing that I commend to many: try to do it the right way. Don't do what I try to do. Because I just went rushing for the van. I lived on it. Maybe it wasn't because of that. It was also with the choices that I decided to make. Because I'm a people pleaser. I noticed that. I noticed that I like to go help other people. I like to be with people. But sometimes when I spend time with them, I miss out on my time. I didn't know how to say no to a lot of things that were happening around them. And sometimes you kind of have to break out of that. You can't be there exactly to please others because when you pleasing people all the time, things can go turn from the wrong. They can. It depends. Everything has like a level of things that you gotta do. Some people can get addicted to things that are not good. I have my friends that drink alcohol a lot. Um, yeah, I feel like having some wine or something like that. People ask me, "Oh, you should go," but I'm not even into that. So I think I'm more interested right now. The thing that gets me the most is trying to learn, become a person, someone who is more courageous than I was in elementary. Definitely learned because I don't think I was the brightest, the most fighter. Maybe for elementary, maybe a bit in kindergarten, but even that I was the most shy. I was always a quiet kid that sat down in the middle, like when there was lunchtime, I would sit by myself. I wouldn't talk to anyone. I was Man, maybe I was an introvert. I have qualities of both. I have extrovert qualities and introvert. When I'm introverted, I don't talk to anyone. Literally, I will cut off people. When I'm extroverted, I'm happy. Hey, what's up? Hey, let's go out, boys. Like that, I sound open, and there's two sides. There's like, it's like I don't know. Many people have one side. It's like I possess multiple sides. But the only thing is, there is one thing that is true. No matter how many sides you have, there's one thing that we can't avoid, and that is the end. The end for us comes in different shapes. Death. Uh, Maybe they stop producing something that you love so long. Sometimes it's that dreadness of emptiness. It's sad, but regardless of the case, there is one thing that exists. You gotta let reality play out as it is. I learned instead of just taking myself out. I used to think like that. Just live life. Let live nature. But the only other thing that what matters when you're living is that you're stable in your mind. That you're doing okay. People wanna see you fry. People wanna see you make projects. People wanna see you have fun. Heck, I went to a Sonic. I dressed up like Sonic not too long ago. That's the beta that I'm talking about. It was hilarious, man. Enjoy life. There is no reason why we shouldn't. Like, eventually, I even thought I was gonna die of cancer. I've been through a lot of situations. I've been through rejections. I think I'm still getting rejected till this day. But guess what? Think what stands out for me is that regardless all of that, I'm not someone that gives up easily. I stick to my values no matter what. There are things that want to make me change, but I know that if I change, then what does that turn out for me? And I can change too. It can be for the better or for the worse. But the only thing that I know is that what helps you out a lot not to do those things that are not okay is being aware of situations, being knowing aware of your actions, aware of the consequences, aware of all of this. And the people are aware and still do bad shit. Those guys are really, really, A, they don't have a choice, or B, they're really horrible people. We don't know their situations. That's why we can't judge others. We don't know what they go through. We don't know how they've been influenced. You don't know what made them do that. Even though it's not justifiable, I really don't hate people like that. Because I think even the biggest scumbag who's in jail right now, they have things that they don't want to admit. They have darkness lingering inside of them, which is why they do things that they think it's twisted. And honestly, in order to deal with that, not everyone can get locked up forever. So what they really gotta do is make some sense into that. Put some things that make them realize that their things was wrong, whatever they do. And a lot of times in the U.S. it's really hard. It's we're not let like in other countries, but other countries kill people. Like we live in a country of freedom. That's the only thing. But there are still situations like that. We still have police. Sometimes even my friends are against that because, and I agree. Like sometimes you can get convicted wrongfully about something, and honestly, it can happen. Knowing there's all of the sides that I'm looking into that. But I want to see what is truthful. I want to stick to something more factful. I want to stick to not only the truth, but what to do that's right. I want to stick to not manipulation, but and sometimes it sucks because in order to get people to freedom, manipulation is kind of like it's not. It's kind of like a low-key thing. At the end of the season, he had to become the god of stories, but he didn't want to become king. He pretty much let the whole timeline. He was asking them. He made friends. He made genuinity. There's a lot of things he didn't want his story to end, but fortunately he had to take up the role. He took the throne, and he was sitting on a chair. Yeah, that serious face. It's like a sacrifice. And sometimes we gotta do the right thing, regardless. And you let things like that slip. You let some of that stuff not always live in pressure. I think that's another thing that can happen sometimes. Oh man.
It's like stuff everywhere. She's not in here though.
That client review was brutal.
We're gonna be underwater for weeks.
When 33-year-old Rebecca Becky Klein failed to show up for her job as a caregiver for disabled people, alarm bells immediately went off. Her girlfriend, 28-year-old Nicole Abou-Sharif, reported her missing later that day, but as investigators worked to untangle the twisted case, they made a shocking discovery that captured media attention nationwide as a love triangle gone wrong. It all began on March 16, 2007 in Villa Park, Illinois, where Becky and Nicole shared a house they had purchased just 9 months earlier. The two women weren't married, but had been in a committed relationship for 7 years.
Yeah, a girl and girl relationship.
According to Nicole, Becky left for work as usual that morning, but at around 11:30 she received a call from Becky's employer, who said she never showed up. When the concerned boss told her he'd been unable to reach Becky, Nicole explained that her cell phone had not been working the past few days. However, Becky's boss found that comment odd because he'd spoken with her several times in the previous 2 days, and she never mentioned having any trouble with her phone. Following that conversation, Nicole contacted Becky's mother to see if she'd heard from her daughter that morning. She said she hadn't and immediately called Becky's father and sister to see if they'd spoken with her, but no one had heard from the reliable caregiver. As worry began to grow, Becky's mother called Nicole back and expressed her fears that something was terribly wrong. Nicole told her that she would drive around to look for Becky's work van, and just after 1 p.m., she found it parked on the street right around the corner from their house. Prompted by this alarming discovery, Nicole contacted the police and reported her girlfriend missing.
Did you already make a missing person report? No, I was going home to do it right now. Is this a house or an apartment? No, it's my house, but like the van is like right in front of my house, like right on the side. I just noticed it. So her van is there with the keys in it? Yeah, like it's not even like my house is a stop sign. It's like on the side of the street. And her boss called me. Her boss called me at noon and was like, "Is she coming in today?" I'm like, "She left this morning to go to work." So she's not inside the house or inside the van? No, not at all.
Officers arrived on scene and found that the doors to the van were left unlocked, with the keys still in the ignition and Becky's belongings abandoned on the front seat. The van, which Becky used to transport her elderly and disabled clients, was then towed to a storage area for further examination, but they ultimately found no significant evidence. Meanwhile, Nicole told one of the officers that she and Becky had been doing things around the house the night before and went to bed without any problems. She said she'd been briefly woken up when Becky left for work at 6:30 that morning, and the two kissed goodbye. Then Nicole said she was reawakened by Becky's boss calling around 11:30. Nicole also made sure to tell officers that they had a very loving and committed relationship. However, when speaking with another officer, Nicole was overheard saying Becky had left for work at 7:30, not 6:30. At this point, Becky's parents had arrived at the couple's house, and authorities asked Nicole to accompany them to the bank to see if there had been any unusual transactions on her account. While Nicole initially refused, stating she wanted to be home if Becky returned, she eventually agreed to go to the bank. However, they didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, as her bank accounts hadn't even been touched that day. Meanwhile,
so I mean, I don't know. I already can tell. This is probably gonna be Nicole who actually.
Upon hearing the news,
we have to find out. We don't know.
Becky's sister raced to the couple's home and was met by Nicole, her parents.
Yeah, that's the picture. When they take the picture, it's telling you like that. Obviously, something doesn't go down with that. Because the only suspect that I can think about. It could be someone else. We don't know.
And the police. She went inside to look around as detectives hadn't yet entered the home and quickly located Becky's phone on a windowsill in the basement. Becky's sister told authorities that she had been at the couple's house the day before, helping set up for a family birthday party. She recalled leaving shortly after 7 in the evening and called Becky at around 8, but got no response. Furthermore, her sister said the two usually spoke on the phone during her work commute, but she never got a call this morning. The rest of the day and night passed with no word from Becky, and by the next day, it was clear to everyone that something awful had happened to her. So, investigators asked Nicole if they could search outside her home for clues. Once again, she initially refused to cooperate, but after much insistence from the police, she agreed to the search. Authorities found this especially strange because Nicole had reportedly consented to a search of her house and garage without hesitation the day before, although it never took place that day. Regardless, as the search began, investigators immediately noticed several pairs of latex gloves in a trash can behind the home and one lying on the ground in front of the residence. As most people in the true crime world know, latex gloves are never a good sign. But still, no one could have imagined the horrifying discovery waiting in the garage. But first, investigators went inside the house, and nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary at first. However, investigators noticed something strange in one of the bedrooms. It appeared to be a mess of tangled clear packing tape on and around the comforter. It's unclear if this tape was related to Becky's disappearance, but there's no denying that it seems suspicious. Then investigators moved to the garage where they found Nicole's vintage Mustang parked inside. They couldn't help but notice that the car had a layer of dust everywhere except for a spot on the lid of the trunk. An officer asked Nicole for the keys to the trunk, but she claimed only to have ignition keys. So another investigator climbed into the vehicle's back seat and removed a speaker from the rear deck. That's when he saw something straight out of a nightmare. Looking through the hole where the speaker used to be, the detective could see what appeared to be a person lying in the fetal position with a plastic bag over their head.
Oh, no. It's criminal.
Despite Nicole's claims that she didn't have keys to the trunk, the intensive search inside the home revealed 2 sets of keys that fit the trunk lock. Officers finally unlocked the trunk and, much to their horror, found Becky's deceased body. Her hands and feet were bound with duct tape, and her mouth had also been taped shut. Becky also had bandanas covering her eyes and mouth, and a plastic bag taped around her head. Detectives cordoned off the home as it officially became an active crime scene. Becky's autopsy showed no outward signs of injury and listed her cause of death as suffocation. According to the medical examiner, someone had secured the plastic bag over her head so tightly that no air could get through. Finally, based on the contents of her stomach, they determined that Becky had been killed within an hour and a half of her last meal. Authorities found no signs of forced entry to the garage, and based on the location of the body, Nicole quickly became the prime suspect.
Oh, of course.
What's even more shocking is that the elaborate and twisted lie was only just beginning to unravel, and even more disturbing revelations were soon exposed. Investigators began questioning those closest to Becky to gain further insight into their relationship. According to Becky's sister, in March 2002, Becky tried to break up with Nicole but decided to stick it out when she threatened to drink herself to death. Becky's sister couldn't recall any other significant disagreements between the pair other than that one incident. But then, shortly after purchasing their home, her sister said that Nicole had become distant and began spending more and more time in their basement on the computer at night. Nicole threatening to kill herself if Becky ended the relationship is a big red flag. This is a form of control that can be found in abusive relationships. When someone says they will take their own life if their significant other leaves them, they're playing on their partner's emotions and manipulating them into staying. If you're in an abusive relationship and need help, contact a domestic violence shelter in your area or reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Becky's mother said that she knew her daughter wanted to have children someday and that Nicole did not. Still, the grieving mother was unaware of any other issues or arguments between the pair, but one of their neighbors was about to expose a shocking secret. When investigators canvassed the area looking for clues, one neighbor reported seeing a car that didn't belong to Becky or Nicole parked in the driveway the night before. Instead, they said it belonged to a woman named Rose Sidaro, who they had apparently met in passing before. The neighbor also said he saw Becky's white van in the driveway that morning, but when he looked again at around 10:30, someone had moved it to the corner near his house. Now, this is where things take a wild turn. As it turns out, neither Becky nor her family had any idea that Nicole had been secretly talking to and hanging out with a 19-year-old woman named Rose. When detectives inquired about whether she may have been unfaithful to Becky, Nicole claimed Rose had simply left her car in her driveway overnight and gotten a ride home from another friend because she was intoxicated. Nicole said she never stayed the night, and she stated that she didn't even know her phone number or home address. Not buying her story, detectives brought Rose in for questioning the same day Becky's body was found. But she supposedly didn't explain the true nature of their relationship at the time because she felt embarrassed. But she did admit to being with Nicole on the night of March 15th. It ultimately didn't matter that Rose was evasive about her relationship with Nicole because a computer crimes investigator quickly uncovered the truth. Nicole was clearly having an intimate relationship with Rose. They revealed a plethora of MySpace messages from various accounts owned by Nicole under different names. One of those accounts detailed her relationship with Rose through a string of back-and-forth messages. Then, in a shocking admission, Rose stated that she and Nicole had met on MySpace a year before the murder, in March 2006. She said they quickly went from chatting online to talking on the phone regularly, and eventually they met in person. The relationship soon became intimate, and according to Rose, Nicole told her that she and her brother had been firefighters in New York City before both falling ill with a rare genetic disorder known as Wilson's disease. None of it was true. At some point in 2006, Nicole even went so far as to tell Rose that she was going in for a liver transplant, but refused to tell her where she was being hospitalized. These lies may have been an attempt for Nicole to gain Rose's attention and sympathy. In the summer of 2006, Rose said she ended their relationship because her mother disapproved of Nicole, but they had reportedly begun talking again by the fall. All the while, Becky and Nicole were still together. Then, on March 15, 2007, just one day before Becky went missing, Rose invited Nicole to go bowling with her and some friends. Nicole also invited Rose to her house beforehand, but she declined, and the two eventually settled on meeting at a restaurant shortly after 9 p.m. After dinner, they went bowling, and Nicole allegedly became intoxicated to the point that Rose had to drive her home. So, based on this timeline, Nicole must have murdered Becky before she met up with Rose, and then went out like nothing was wrong. Next, Rose said she and Nicole arrived at her Park Villa house around 3 a.m., and she noticed a white van parked further up the driveway. When they went inside, there was no one else in the house, and Nicole got clothes for Rose to sleep in. But when she got into the bedroom, Rose said she was alarmed to see a gun resting in an open case on the bed. When confronted about the weapon, Nicole allegedly told her not to worry about it and placed it on the bedside table. Rose insisted during her testimony that she had no idea Becky lived there or that the two were in a relationship. The following day, Rose said Nicole woke up between 7 and 8 a.m., and she fell back asleep for some time before getting up to watch TV together. However, roughly 20 minutes later, Nicole got several phone calls that visibly upset her. The two eventually departed around noon to pick up Nicole's car, which had been left at the restaurant the night before. But before they left, Nicole told Rose that her friend was missing, and that's why she was getting so many calls. Rose dropped Nicole off at her car and headed home. They made plans to meet up that afternoon, but a few hours later, Nicole called with an unsettling request. According to Rose, Nicole told her that if she gets pulled over by the police, it would be in her best interest to deny knowing her and that she should also lie about having a MySpace account. So, as you can see, Rose's story differed significantly from what Nicole had told investigators and painted a very different picture of that fateful evening. As the investigation continued, detectives learned that Becky and Nicole both held life insurance with the same company, with each woman serving as the beneficiary of the other's policy. Furthermore, the insurance company reported that Becky was insured for $250,000. Back at Nicole and Becky's home, a forensic team of experts located 3 fingerprints on the Mustang's trunk that were proven to be from Nicole's left hand. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, they also found her prints on the plastic bag covering Becky's head, and her DNA on the bandanas used to cover Becky's eyes and mouth. Finally, detectives found a roll of duct tape in the garage containing Nicole's fingerprints that, based on tearing patterns, appeared to match pieces found on Becky's body. So it seemed Nicole hadn't been wearing those latex gloves after all. Given the evidence against her, Nicole was charged with first-degree murder and concealment of a homicidal death on March 21, 2007. She entered a plea of not guilty and the case went to trial in May 2009. A jury found her guilty of first-degree murder, and Nicole was given a 50-year prison term.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just.
Okay, that was insane. That's why I have a check for all of this. Ugh. So yeah, she was the criminal after all. Decided to hide it all. Oh man. Whew. You know, I think I'm starting to like this thing. I may get tired from it. I think I'm gonna take a rest eventually. But you know what? Um, I need to keep doing this. I think I have more energy than once I might do that. Ooh. Okay. Let's discuss what we just had. Too much information to process. So there was President. She had called that she had disappeared, but she called them, but she did that. Oh man. But then she was cheating because she was caught in another relationship. Like this what doesn't make sense, you know. Some people can just and I feel bad for Becky here. She was innocent. She didn't do like wife got an affair for that. But man, speaking of that, man, reminds me so much of situations that are going on in life. Some things I just claim to. It sucks. That is reality. Reality is something that can suck, but when you do the right thing, reality becomes the best thing. Becomes like you're actually part of the like you're solving. You're not causing harm. We're people that just don't get when they need to stop doing things that are not right. Like I had crushes at work, you know, but they have, and I spoke about it. I think with my friends, they could have had the choice to let you not continue being like that, not acting like, not acting in a mean manner or have more communication, you know. But there are things where they decide, oh, I broke up with him, now I'm gonna get with this guy, but now there's drama. So I saw some of this. There's some of oh what? That's odd. Trump was working McDonald's? What? I was looking at that drum hog. um, Twitter woman. What the heck? Okay, so I guess we're gonna start switching content. So that was the criminal section of our video today. I think that lasted me. Let me check. Let me check how long I've been streaming for. It's been 1 hour and 39 minutes, and that was just the criminal aspect. Oh yeah, it feels horrible. Imagine that happening. Imagine you walk in, someone cheats on you. You're already married, and this can happen. And I'm thinking about someone I used to know from my workplace who would be in that type of situation, who sounded like they had a lot of drama. It's just true. Baristas, we're pretty awesome people. We have a lot of drama. I try to stay clear from it, but sometimes, you gotta accept how existence is. But not always, Lately, I think I've been more quiet about that. It's like I chose a different. The reality is, you choose how you want to lead life. But yeah, I think my most dramatic event was the van. Was because I had big ideas. Oh, well now I'm just have normal ideas. I stopped working for Starbucks. It's been like a year of recovery because a lot of things did happen. But no, right here, this is still, and this happened in the school. This looks like she was like a kindergarten teacher or something like that. I don't know if she was a kindergarten teacher, but that was not okay. People's lives should always be respected. Have peers, even if you don't like someone else. That doesn't mean you have to go bashing on that person or doing creepy things. Or oh man, I've done things without even trying to, like, if you do it because it was an accident. Don't never do it out of intentional means, because that's what gets a lot of people into bad. Oh, am I being asked to log in? Oh yeah. Yeah, things like that are just la, 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 la. It's just not okay. People can go through that. Anyone can go through that. But are you gonna be part of it, or are you gonna please log me in? Continue. Oh, I pressed that. Okay, okay, continue, 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 continue. Okay. Okay. Oh, nice. We are getting those bills, those nice, simple bills. It's all right, things are gonna happen. You're gonna run to instigate. Um, let's do something else. Now that we reacted to this, we know this stuff is creepy, man. Okay, let's look at this Twitter thing that's insane. Or actually, let's look at our boy Meet Kanye. To talk to Oh, let's do this one. This one's funny.
Deals forever. Change whenever.
Because I'll admit to you guys one thing that is true. I like to be, if I'm doing things, I like a bit of comfort in my life. But doesn't mean that I won't dress up nice. I dress up nice when I'm hanging out, when I'm going to places, restaurants, or investigations. But if I'm home, I'm chilling. I already finished doing my homework here. I was feeling hot, and both kinds of hot. Yeah, you have the choice to feel hot, but now I want to cool down, man. I wanna be a bit fresh. I'll even turn the AC on. Heck yeah. It's 72 degrees though. Not only that, I'd be cool with my blank. So yeah, it can be a mess. You're allowed to be a mess. If you want to be a mess, Be a mess. Be yourself. I think at this point, oh man. Oh, he even reacted to himself. Look at that blood. Oh my goodness. Sam. He's like, look at a monster in all of his hunger. Look at all that weight. Oh no. Yeah, he's like a lizard, you know. Shaving off all that also, all that fatness. So he starts taking off all that skin. See, it's like a baby hands. Ew. By the way, if there's anything you guys want me to react, I'll be reacting to some stuff. You guys can post it in there. I'll be sure to check it out. As long as it's nothing too that I can't show, anything to wreck. But yeah, like I just saw, I like the case right now. Like it's interesting to discuss that kind of information because it really helps out not only me but other people, but also learning. You know, I'm not just focused on that. Learning is a quite thing that I love. I love what's called. I've read a couple of books that have changed my mindset how it used to be, and people ask it like, "Oh, you should go. We should drink. We should celebrate." Oh my goodness, that's a creepy image. Look at that face. Okay, let's zoom this in. Look at that. That's like a horror movie monster. If I play a horror game and I saw that, I'd be scared. Look at that. What is? You have the air. You have that. It looks creepy. Meat Canyon. Shout out to him. He did a great job animating all of this. Man of his own body. No, he came out with America good right now. Yeah. Finally.
Välkommen till Bettinia, Sveriges snabbast växande spelbolag. Hos oss hittar du över 4 000...
And we're on a roll.
Okay, this is the fun stuff right here, the controversial stuff. When we're not looking at crimes, I think watching this is also okay.
This is my third video. Did you see the other two before this? This is part 3. We're going to be reacting to Meat Canyon, who did Return of the King, because I am the mukbang king. I haven't quit mukbangs, really. I just got skinny so I can keep doing them. We identify as skinny. Thanks to everyone on my Instagram who suggested I react to him, as well as my Twitter. I have new Instagrams and new Twitters. I'm going to link them in the description if you want to follow me there. This is going to be exciting because you guys know I reacted to the original King of Mukbang back in the day, and
it wasn't that, like, 100% sure. It wasn't, even I lost. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Politics. Okay. So, what was that? It's that surgery to remove fat. I think vasectomy. Was it something like that? Liposuction. There we go. What is vasectomy? Oh no! I don't want to know. We're sticking to liposuction. Vasectomy is for another part. It makes sense too with the starting words, you know. Sure. There was that more to learn. Liposuction, a cosmetic, is a fat removal procedure. You could probably remove fat cells, but not from what we're hearing. I don't think it's been doing any of that.
I kind of had a meltdown about it. It was really funny. People think that his animation of me, where, you know, I'm going to put a little thing here, that's what he drew me as, and people think that kind of inspired me to finally take control of my health and all this stuff. No, I was always in control, and the plan was to do this from the very beginning. The video was brilliant. I loved it at the time. But I already knew what I was going to... Like, I remember turning off that camera when I reacted to it, and I was like, if only he knew what was coming.
It's the only character. Whenever it seems it was too good to be true, maybe it was a sign for everyone to not to take that serious. But even then, at that point, you couldn't believe it. You played a great role. You fooled the whole internet. You fooled everyone. Everyone was telling. Even I think I even commented like, "Man, this was sad that I saw that." Back then,
It's funny because I met him in person shortly after, maybe 2 years after, and I didn't tell him like I'm gonna lose the weight and tell people this was scripted and planned. I didn't even tell him. I'm just like, thanks for the animation. It was really cute, really cool. We filmed a mukbang together. And that's on this channel, which is why I decided to put this video on this channel, because his collab with me is already here. There's my, oh wow. That's me. Look at me, defeated. Pulling myself out from the slump. That's kind of like portraying how I portrayed myself on the internet, like so fat, can't bend over, can't move, can't fart. Like, I literally... Here's my water weight.
Let's go. I'm reacting to a video of Nico reacting of a video of himself. What would be funny if he was even reacting of reaction of video. Yeah, we just looked into that.
My arm. There it is, my real hands. I love how it's starting right where it left off. I don't know if you remember where it left off. I'll put a little thing here. That's where it left off from part 1 of his animation of me. Basically, I was eating myself in this weird universe where everything was dark and gloomy, and it was kind of reflective of maybe my mindset. Just rip it off. I wish it was so easy to just rip off the fat. I said in the other video, but I'll tell you guys here too, it took over 2 years. It was more like 2.5 years. Like I said, it was around 2 years. Well, actually, I said I hadn't filmed a YouTube video in 2 years. That wasn't quite accurate. I had like a 1.5 years or something, but I meant to say I've been doing this weight loss journey for over 2 years. It was closer to 2.5 years that I started it by the time I had revealed my weight. So I wish I was just ripping off the fat suit. Oh man, those are the man boobs. I didn't really get bad ones. They were never that bad. Epic! Boom! It's over, peasants! And there I am. Okay, excuse me, 1 minute 20 second. Why did he give me a vajayjay neck? Maybe it's to signify like droopy skin, like I've lost all the weight, but I don't like how I have vajayjay neck. You're supposed to make me look cute, Meat Canyon. Like he gave me the 2 lines, like, you know, when your neck, it looks like a vajayjay. I don't know. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
And brighter days are ahead. You know what? Look at my hairline. That's not my hairline. You forgot the epic widow's peak? How do you forget the widow's peak? How do you forget the McDonald's hairline? I mean, yeah, I shaved my head for dramatic effect. But you forgot the McDonald's hairline? That's like my iconic thing.
Look at this. Yeah. It's the Dragon Ball though. That is the Widow's Peak as well. That receding hair. Oh man. Dang, I'm starting to sound really low with this. Oh, that's my video. This is where we're going.
Even when I shave my head, you can still see it. I mean, I know I shaved my head, but that was just for dramatic effect, and I'm kind of rocking the look with the beard. Very few guys have it, unless they have like receding. But no, I've always just had this. The McDonald's hairline, he gave me like this round looking thing. I mean, I know animations are to exaggerate your features, but that's a feature. He could have made the hairline down to here or something. That's like a big feature. And maybe
we already
sensationalizing it, exaggerating it, but that's
toxic. Oh, it's you.
I was a little nervous.
I already kind of like, well, this was like 3 weeks ago. Let's see what is trending right now, though. So we already watched a bit of that. It was a bit of crazy. I thought it was crazy. Oh, some videos right here I react to. But again, I want to see what it is that's hidden right now. That just trending. Oh, there we go. Bam, right here. Let's see what everyone's looking into. Of course, Mr. Beast will be on top.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
What's that crack? Where did that crack? Yeah, because someone could freaking that because they did that.
Oh boy!
It was remote control. That's another thing I'm thinking of.
And we had cats for some reason.
Uh-huh. Yep, I backed up all the way into the show before us.
What?
Wife talking about her dream.
Homer, you've got company.
Oh, man.
Why are there two sets of prices?
One's the Emmy winner discount.
Ah. Black coffee and toast, please.
And we had cats for some reason.
I honestly never watched the show. But it looks like it's good, you know. I don't do much of reaction stuff. I've been to that, but... Oh, man. Let's keep looking and more and more. I'm 100% sure there is big. Oh, that's why. I know why. Must be because I'm doing some things right now. Hold up. I'll be back, guys.